You know what my secret was? When I was in junior high school, I was in a drafting class. In the back of the drafting class were magazines piled up. And the magazines were hydraulic and pneumatic magazine and design news and machine design and all of the fortunately they had those there. So I would take those magazines and read them through lunch and everything every day. Well, I noticed there were hundreds and hundreds of ads in those magazines for hydraulic cylinders and valves and hose and gears and chain and all the different mechanical components. Well, these are the things that I go to Disneyland and I talk to the maintenance people and I'd pull on their coattails and I'd sit on a park bench and they'd sit there for 15 minutes and I'd say, well, how do the figures move? Well, they use hydraulic cylinders. And how do they get their power? Well, it's a hydraulic pump, So I'm sitting in junior high school, and I'm not even out of junior high school, and I'm seeing all this stuff in these magazines. It's like, here's an ad for hydraulic cylinders, and here's an ad for hydraulic pumps and things. So I thought, I need to write these companies and get information, So the first thing I did as a company, and my mom worked at General Telephone, and so one of the things, actually it was for my birthday, I got Garner production stationery for my birthday. So I had her help me type up a form letter that said, "Dear sirs, we're interested in your products. Can you please send all the information you can on the products that you provide?" And I had her start copying those by the hundreds. And I literally would sit on weekends and I would stamp envelopes and I'd send these out by the hundreds. Well, literally, I would get hundreds and hundreds of catalogs. My bedroom was piled with stacks of catalogs of parts, hydraulic, and I learned what they were by reading about them. I'd get a catalog and I'd say, wow, that's what a cylinder is, and I'd read it and tell how it worked. I don't want to drag this on, but funny story. So one day I'm at home and my grandmother, doorbell rings and she opens the door and there's a bunch of suits standing there and a big car parked out in front of the house, a little residential house. And these gentlemen said to my grandmother, they said, well, we're looking for Garner Holt, the president of Garner Holt Productions. We drove out from LA, we sell hydraulic valves. And we drove out from LA to see him. And she said, well, she's making dinner, she's wiping her hands with the dish towel, and she says, well, I think he's in the garage working on his bike. So they walk around the corner, and I'm with my friends, and I'm working on my bike in bare feet and everything, and they said, we're here to talk to Garner Holt, the president. I said, well, that's me, and they weren't really too happy to go out. But a couple years later, guess what? Those same guys were selling me valves. And one of the guys that worked for Brenner Fiedler, Art Edelson, fast forward 30 years, when he just retired, he says, I remember coming to your house in the garage, and I've been selling you valves all these years. He says, you've been one of our best customers, years and years ahead. So things work out, you know what I mean? So,